Hello, today we will explain what is SS7. And as you know, SS7 stands for Signaling System 7. So, in general, this is a abbreviation of SS7. SS7 is used from around 1970. And if you have heard of signaling system, every phone network in the world is connected to it. And if you have ever roamed network, so even if you are in your home network, or if you are roam in another network in another country, so that meaning you need to use for roaming purpose SS7. And SS7 is a set of telecommunication protocol. So in general, SS7 is a sum of protocols. Okay, and the protocols that mean if you need to make any setup signaling between any two countries or between two MNO, MNO1 and MNO2, you have some protocol here. This protocol is used, you can use them in 2G and 3G. So, for example, you need to exchange information, route phone calls, text messaging, and other communication between each other on 2G or 3G network, you can use SS7. In general, in 4G and 5G, there are a different type of protocol. For example, in 4G, you are using diameter protocol. In 5G, you are using HTTP/2. And here we are talking in general about SS7 as exchange of signaling again, signaling messages on control plane. Okay, so here when we are discussing the importance of SS7 protocol, you can see everything in the home network for calls, for SMS, everything is based on SS7, especially in the core network. So in general, in the core network, you need to use SS7. And here, if we're asking about why does it matter? When you roam on different network or send SMS internationally, the SS7 works behind the scene to seamlessly route the calls and SMS. So the main two service is the calls and SMS. Okay, so SS7 identifies the country code, locate the specific cell tower that your phone is using, and facilitates the connection. This process involves multiple networks and enable you to communicate across border, making international roaming and text messaging possible. But even if you don't know or if you don't roam internationally, send MS or use legacy 2G, you may still vulnerable to SS7. So we can ask it now a question. Is SS7 is secure? No. Why SS7 is not secure? As you know, SS7 already was used before in the PSTN, Public Switching Terrestrial Network, and the trust to each other between network is the main concept before. And an attacker now can use SS7 to intercept text message and then gain access to your bank account, medical record, or any other important account using your ownership of your mobile phone. But why SS7 is not secure? SS7 was standardized, as we mentioned before, at the late of 1970 and the early 1980s. Okay, so at a time when communication relied primarily on land phone, during that era, the telecommunication industry was controlled by corporate monopoles because the large telecom all trust each other. So here, the main purpose of unsecurity for SS7 is the trust between the large telecom operator to each other. So no focus on security in this time. So SS7 was developed on modern encryption authentication method were not in a widespread. Starting from 1990s and 2000s, this era, new protocols were introduced by, for example, ETSI, or European Telecommunication Standardized Institute, and the telecom standard bodies to support mobile phone with a series they needed, such as roaming, such as SMS, data, and so on. However, security as well was still not a concern at the time. As a result, SS7 presents significant cybersecurity vulnerabilities and demand our attention for that reason. And for that reason, SS7 can be accessed through telecommunication companies, roaming hubs. So in general, if you need to access SS7, companies must have something is called a global title, GT, okay, or global title, which a phone number that uniquely identify a piece of equipment on the SS7 network. Each phone company that run its own network has multiple global titles. Some telecommunication company lease this global title. So this is one of the main issue of the using in general SS7.